Yo, what's up, guys? We're back with another episode of the Black Diamond Podcast, and we got a great topic today. And it's going to be about should you discuss voting or religion on the first date? Let's get into it. If you don't know, we are giving away a brand new Switch at 10,000 subscribers. Hey, I might even do it at 1,000, but you have to stay tuned because we are going to give away this brand new Switch. So subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, stay locked in. Catch you on the video.
Topic.
Okay, so it's a good one. So I feel like because we have a little bit of business and dating going on and politics. So our topic for today is so when you're on a first date, should you discuss politics? Is discussing with, someone that you're just starting to date, who you're voting for, who you voted for in the past, something that should be brought up on a first date or at all?
I would definitely say, according to my dating etiquette book, that is not something that you should do on a first date. I think that my advice to women specifically, because that's who my content is usually geared towards, is a first date should be fun. It should allow him to see the best sides of you. When people get into conversations about politics and religion specifically, they tend to become very passionate, and you could end up showing him a side of you that you may not. I mean, it's not necessary for a first date. So I think my advice is always to keep things light. You pay attention and listen, but you really want the person to talk about themselves, and you want to talk about yourself, as opposed to things that are outside of just, are you guys compatible? Do you like each other?
Yeah.
And arguing about a political candidate does not necessarily have anything to do with your personality. Now, that may be something you want to bring up later, because we know politics is, especially now, right now, it really shapes the way we live our lives. But I think on a first date, for a woman, I just want you to go and have fun. I want you to be in all your feminine energy. I want you to feel pretty, and just allow him to see the softer side of you. And arguing about politics is not the way to go.
I got a question for you, Crystal. What if we had a great date?
Okay.
Hour and a half, 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? We went out somewhere. We both had a great time.
Hmm.
We had just everything was, all the boxes were being checked off.
Right.
And then at the end of the date, when I'm about to drop you off at your house, I'm like, hey, so who'd you vote for? Would that be a bad farewell?
That would be a really bad farewell. That would be a bad farewell, because number one, you've just stopped. The energy is shifted, right? And I think that it becomes, sometimes we can disagree. If we already like each other, it's easier for us to disagree about something without taking things personal. I don't know you very well, and you say something, I don't really understand you. I don't know the context in which you speak. You could be joking. You could say, who did you vote for? And that to you could be something that's a joke and fun. If I have very strong beliefs and I'm triggered, I could take it in a totally different way, and I could respond in a way that would be totally inappropriate for the way you ask. So I think that changes the energy, and it would definitely be a red flag.
Who'd you vote for as a joke? That's how you joke?
Like,
That's
that-
Gemini's joke like that,
Some
actually.
people
We don't. No one jokes like that.
But I think now, because of how polarizing the political landscape is, I do think that, and some people at this point are frustrated and think it's a joke. And so a lot of the candidates have said things that are very in a joking manner that are not funny.
Right.
So I think that sometimes people could say something like, obviously we know that Trump said a lot of off-color things. If someone brought up something that he said in a joking manner, someone else could take it extremely offensively. Like, you bring up the fact that the former president of the United States said, grab him by the pussy, and then the woman has a history of like sexual abuse. Like, that's a bad thing. So I just
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
this is not a territory that we want to go into on a first or second date. You really just want to get to know the person and let them get to know you, and then start to peel back the layers. That's a process. We don't need to peel the onion all the way
Yeah.
for
Right.
the first 90 minutes.
I mean, I definitely think you should put your best foot forward. And that usually doesn't include politics or religion or things like that. But I also think that everything is political. Who did you vote for is not the only political question.
Yeah.
And so it does feel like if that's something that matters to you, like it's going to be hard to take that out.
Yeah.
Right. And so When people ask, what do you do? And I say, I work in an election, right? Like I write about an election.
Yeah.
But in the same way, I don't want to sit around and talk about that all day on the day. Like I'm not, that doesn't mean to me that we have to talk about that.
Hmm.
But it's also in there, obviously, a part of your day to day. It's a part of who you are, it's a part of the stuff you care about.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying all of those things matter. But I think there's ways to talk about those things without it being, okay, who did you vote for? But at the same time, if you're someone who that matters for, like if religion is core to who what you do,
Hmm.
why? I mean, why hide it? Like like
Yeah.
if that might not be the person across from you, and whether you go to date three or whether it's right now,
Yeah.
if you know that that's a deal breaker for you, then
Get it out the way early, I guess. I had a bad experience with the religion question, and I just mentioned that I was a Christian. That's it. And it went so bad. But what happened is, like I was saying, some people can be triggered. So this particular guy that I dated to this day, and I didn't take the name out of my phone because I'm married, I'm not dating anymore. But I just wanted to make sure I would never answer the phone. When he heard the word Christian, he got triggered. His sister had passed away, and he blamed God for it. Right. And so he literally went on he just
that's
verbally attacked me on how Jesus, that you believe in Jesus and this. He just went. It was so horrible, and I understood it was coming from a painful place, but he attacked me on a first date,
yeah,
just because I said I was a Christian. I didn't even go into, because there's Christianity is like there's a lot of different explanations and definitions of it, but he was so, and it was because he was coming from just had gotten out of an experience that he blamed God for. So it turned into an attack. And so I just learned, like, just
yeah. But that's not just about religion. That's about respect too, right?
right.
Like there's no reason to do that.
There was no
Yeah.
reason to do that.
Like it's not an
Bless
excuse.
his heart.
You need to heal.
I think
Yeah,
that,
like
I think that with today's current climate on just dating and having children not married, I think that these type of questions are essential as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so many kids that are being born out of wedlock, which means they're not fully committed relationships yet. Uh, to some, right?
All right, fellas, this is going to be directed more towards the men. The first date, a lot of times, your role and job is going to be making the first, second, and third date fun, playful, energetic, vibrant, or the vibe, if you want to say that. Your job is to make the first date experience just fun and enjoyable as much as possible. Your job on the first couple of dates is not figuring out if she's going to be a long term partner, but rather how much value can you extract from her? And then from there, if you want to continue seeing her or not. Okay? The date shouldn't be so serious where you're thinking about the future, you're thinking about this woman as a possible wife or mother of your kids. Don't take it so deep. The first date, first couple of dates need to be as unserious as possible, and it needs to just be relaxed, playful, and just fun. Nobody wants a real serious date for the most part. They just want to have a good time, get to know each other, and then go from there. This is why politics and religion should never really be discussed on the first date, because those things can bring up a lot of emotions, they can stir up a lot of feelings, and you never really know where it's going to take a person or a stranger, I should say, how it's going to make them react. So this is the thing, you want to avoid topics like politics, religion, any serious related commitment topics. You want to kind of avoid that until you extracted the value that you wanted and you made a decision on whether or not you wanted to see her again. With that being said, a lot of women have a hive mindset. And I say that, I mean, they will follow the trend for the most part or what the majority is going with. Now, a hive mindset is actually a double-edged sword. It can be a good thing in some cases, and it can hurt you in some cases. In this case, the hive mindset is going to hurt you in the very beginning because she does not know you, she doesn't trust you, she doesn't know what your leadership style is. She knows nothing about you, so her hive mindset is not going to follow yours. Now, once you've built some reputation with her, the hive mindset can actually come into your favor where she's following your lead, she's following your direction, and she's picking up on things that you're interested in. But in the very beginning, the hive mindset is going to hurt you, and she's not going to take well with things that oppose what she believes. This is why you avoid those very sensitive, you avoid topics, you avoid very sensitive topics, and you avoid topics that could bring up a lot of emotions because you just want to make things as playful as possible. You want to make things fun, right? You want to build that reputation with her. You want to build that leadership. Now, as a single woman, her leader is society. Her leader is going to consist of her parents, her friends, influencers, social media. Those those are the things she's going to follow initially, and it's going to take time for her to have that trust and reputation with you, for her to come under your lead and under your direction and want to follow you. I don't ever suggest going on multiple dates. I would say 4 to 5 without ever extracting the value that you needed. If you don't know what that means doing the deed. All right. If you haven't done that by the fourth or fifth date, then you're essentially doing this wrong, and you need to go back to some of my previous videos and determine if this is the type of girl you still want to invest in heavily into, or you need to look at what you're doing wrong in the dating phase and see why she hasn't seen that worth in you to give up her value and to just follow you in that way. But if you have reached that point where she does have some trust with you, some reputation with you, and key component of this is going to be the fact that you want to continue seeing with her and you potentially see some type of future with her, then this is where you kind of have the opportunity to instill some of your ideas onto her. Now, how do you do this? You don't do this by directly coming out and displaying what your thoughts are, because they're going to oppose what she believes, because she's coming from a mindset where she's following other people's beliefs. All right, you have to do this subtly, and this is going to come into play of just understanding, if it's politics, understanding where she stands with certain policies. Now, a lot of women don't really understand politics. A lot of men don't really understand either, but for the most part, a lot of women are attracted to buzzwords that politicians say, like, controlling women's bodies, the right to vote, taking away their freedoms. They're attracted to things like that. So they're going to go with what sounds like it will directly impact them. Now, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or what her political party is, nobody wants somebody who's extreme or super far to one side. Okay? This is why you kind of have to play the middle ground and figure out where she stands on her policies and her beliefs. Because even if you guys have two different political beliefs, there's a chance that she'll agree with some of the things that you agree with on this side, and that she's not directly influenced by. All right. So the main thing is to ask questions, get to see where her standing is, get to see what she believes, what she wants to fight for, what she has value in, and her morals, and then you can slightly instill some ideas that don't necessarily go against what she believes, but is a middle ground so that she can see your point slowly throughout the relationship. And through time, if she truly does like you, women will naturally develop a hive mindset and follow under your lead. That means those middle ground points now become points that she can relate with. And if you conveyed yourself as a leader, you conveyed yourself as a competent person who knows what the topics that they're speaking about, a person who doesn't get emotional, you're not getting loud when you're explaining these middle ground points, then she's more likely to follow those middle ground points and have a deeper conversation with you when the time comes on certain stances that may oppose to hers, where she can slowly fall under your beliefs. Naturally, women will do this with a follower or a leader within their relationship. And if a woman hasn't done this, then she truly just doesn't see you as a leader within a relationship or as a capable man of leading her. Because naturally, women will follow the man that they're with. So if you explained yourself and you conveyed yourself properly on those middle ground points, she'll naturally follow you on those points. Now, religion is a little bit more of a touchy subject. I necessarily don't see how two different couples coming from two different religious backgrounds can make it work, just because those values are kind of just set in stone. But you can make it work if you follow the same method where you slowly point out those middle ground points where it's not directly opposing, and you can kind of sway her a little bit into following your points when it comes to those middle ground points. But will she directly convert? Hey, who knows? But at the end of the day, I feel like if you can agree on some things and having two different opposing beliefs, you can make it work, right? I never saw the problem of two different political parties getting together and joining union in a relationship. For instance, you'll talk a lot about you'll hear a lot about on social media where you have women who vote for who are Democrat directly disregarding any man who's a Republican or has any Republican beliefs. Their leadership and what they believe in and their mindset and who they're listening to directly tells them that this side is wrong. This side wants to take away that from you. This side wants to take away A, B, and C from you. And if you agree with any points from that side, then you're directly opposing this side, which isn't necessarily true, right? Uh, but either way, you need to stick with the middle ground until you figure out what her stances are, what type of stances you can impose where it wouldn't directly oppose to her beliefs, but something that you could both mutually agree on and come to a conclusion to. So I hope you guys like this episode. Stay tuned for more episodes. We're dropping episodes weekly, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.